If your Python code prints the wrong output or behaves randomly, the problem is usually not the logic, it's how you're using the variable. Now let us understand what variable really is. A variable is not a box, it's the name that points to a value in memory. When the value changes, the variable still points to the latest one. That means this value 20 has been stored inside a variable which has been given a name as age. And this value can change later, like after 5 years, you're not 20 anymore, the age is not 20 anymore, it is 25. And now, when you print it, because the same variable is having two different values, the Python does not remember the old values unless you explicitly store them. So, this is going to print the latest value of the same variable. So the value 20 was ignored and the latest value 25 has been printed. Now, let us understand how to use multiple variables. So there are three variables we have: name, age, and price. So variables can be reused everywhere. It can be used in printing, calculations, conditions, database values. So here, these variables have been reused in printing a statement. So we want to say, or we want to display the age of Aisha. So we are saying that we want to display Aisha is 20 years old, and we want to say that the price of the things we bought is 99.5. But because Aisha is stored inside the variable name, we are using the variable name here when we want to display Aisha. And when you want to display 20, you're using the variable name instead. And the same goes with the variable price as well. So you never put variables inside the codes unless you want the text and not the value. So you can observe that whenever we want it a text, they're always inside the codes, and the variable names are without the codes because the variables are printed directly. So when you run it, you see where we use name, its value, Aisha is printed. When we used age, the value 20 is displayed. And when we used price, the value of it, that is 99.5, is displayed. So this is how we use multiple variables, and this is how we reuse our variables. Now coming to the next one, which is the assignment operator. So this might look like a mathematical expression, right? But this is not math. So the assignment operator here is assigning a value to a variable. So this is not the equal signs in math, which is for comparing two sides, right? This is an assignment operator in coding or in Python. It assigns a value, something which is on the right hand side, to the variable which is on the left hand side. So here you see there is another value of the same variable x, that is x plus 5. So this expression will be calculated first and then that value will be stored inside the variable. So because the value of x was 10, 10 plus 5 is 15. So this calculation is stored inside the variable x. And because again, the same variable is having two different values, the latest value x will be printed. So now we will expect the output to be 15. And that's what is happening here. So understanding this prevents logic bug in jobs. Now, the common mistake the beginners makes is what we are discussing here. So again, we have a same variable with two different values, but here there is a value as a number and there is a value as a text, that is a text or a string. You can call it as a string as well. So of course, when these two values are given, so the latest value is printed, right? So we will expect the value to be as ten. Okay, so this has to be running. So the latest value is ten. But when you want to calculate this expression, let's see. So you might assume that this is also going to give you the output as 15, but that's not as happening here. It is giving you error because the latest value of x was a text and you cannot add a text with a number, and that's what this error is displaying here. You see, it says you can only concatenate a string with not. So you can only add a string to a string, but not an integer. That's what it is saying. Concatenate string to a string. But here we are trying to add 5, which is a number, which is an integer, to a text. So that's not as possible. So this is the common mistake a beginner makes. So you have to avoid this. Now, we will be discussing the use cases of variables. So the real world use case, how you can reuse your variables. So variables are used mostly in data analysis, variables which are storing column values, in automations, they store file names and paths, and in backend code, they store user inputs. So here there is an example similar to data analysis where someone's salary was 50,000 and the bonus they received was 5,000. Now you want to calculate the total value. So there is another variable which is storing your total amount you received with the salary and the bonus. So when you run it, it is going to print you the total amount, which is 55,000. Now later, next year, or maybe after few months, your salary has changed to maybe 60,000, and the bonus you got is that is 6,000. So this is going to give you the latest value without changing anything, like without changing the variable names or anything. So this is how you can reuse your variables. Now that you understand variables, the next important topic is data types and user inputs because that's where most beginners fail.